Welcome back to Lakers News Fan Report, where we bring you the latest and most exciting sports news every single day. And today we've got a story that could shake the very foundation of the NBA and possibly redefine what the future holds for the Los Angeles Lakers. Because after a crushing playoff exit, one that left fans stunned, disappointed, and maybe even a little angry, all eyes are now on the Lakers front office. The big question on everyone's mind? What now? The team just got exposed in the first round. And not just by any opponent, but by a Minnesota Timberwolves squad that took full advantage of the Lakers' most glaring weakness, one that analysts and fans have been talking about all season, but no one truly expected to be this fatal. No dominant big man. No interior anchor. No force to match the size and defensive presence of a guy like Rudy Gobert, who, let's be honest, looked like an all-NBA version of himself in that Game 6 closer. Gobert absolutely torched the Lakers in the paint. 27 points, 24 rebounds, 2 monster blocks, and an unshakable presence that made the Lakers look small, physically and emotionally, in the biggest game of the year. So what does this mean for the future of the franchise? What do you do when you've already made the blockbuster trade for Luka Doncic, a move that had everyone buzzing, only to crash out in the first round? Well, one prominent analyst has an idea. And let me tell you, it's not just bold, it's wild. But the more you think about it, the more it starts to make a little unsettling sense. Because this week on his podcast, longtime sports media lightning rod Skip Bayless dropped a bombshell. They need to trade for Anthony Davis, he said. Wait, what? Let that sink in. Not keep Davis. Not build around Davis. But reacquire Anthony Davis. After trading him away just 3 months ago in the blockbuster that brought Luka to LA, Bayless is now suggesting the Lakers should flip the script and try to bring Davis back. And he didn't stop there. According to Bayless, the Lakers should offer Luka Doncic, yes, Luke, to get Davis back from the Mavericks. Maybe throw in Maxi Kleber too, he mused. That's exactly what the Lakers need. Now at first glance, this sounds completely unhinged, right? Who trades Luka Doncic after less than 1 full season? Who gives up on one of the most dynamic scorers and playmakers in the league after a promising regular season finish and a top 3 seed in the West? But then you start to dig deeper. You start to feel the frustration from fans and insiders alike. The way this roster, as fun and flashy as it looked on paper, just fell apart when it mattered most. The way Rudy Gobert turned Crypto.com Arena into his own personal playground. The way the absence of a two-way big man completely unraveled the Lakers' game plan. And suddenly, Bayless doesn't sound so crazy. Could this be a case of we fixed the wrong problem? Did the Lakers make the right call trading for Luka? Or did they just paper over the cracks while letting their real defensive anchor walk out the door? Let's rewind. The trade deadline move that shocked the world, Luka Doncic to LA for Anthony Davis and a package of picks and rotation players, was hailed as a win for the Lakers. Doncic meshed surprisingly well with LeBron. His usage rate stabilized. His assists went up. His efficiency, better than expected. He helped guide the Lakers to a 3rd seed in an ultra-competitive Western Conference. But the playoffs aren't the regular season. When the game slowed down, when the paint collapsed, when teams tightened the screws and went to war, Luka's limitations became glaring. His defense, or lack thereof, became a liability. His heliocentric offense stalled. And without a strong interior presence to back him up, the Lakers just couldn't find answers. That's where Davis's absence loomed large. This is a guy with a championship pedigree. A player who can protect the rim and switch onto guards. A guy who can score inside, hit the mid-range, set punishing screens, and anchor a defense like few others in the league. Was he injury-prone in LA? Absolutely. But when healthy, Davis changes everything. Fans are now asking the unthinkable. Did the Lakers win the trade on paper, but lose it on the court? Because here's what you might not know. According to several insiders, including ESPN's Brian Windhorst, the Mavericks were thrilled to get Davis. Not just for his skill set, but because his defensive mindset fit perfectly next to Kyrie Irving's offensive firepower. Nico Harrison, GM of the Mavericks, reportedly believed that building around defense, not heliocentric offense, was the only way to contend in today's NBA. So when LA offered Luka, Dallas jumped at the chance to turn the page. And now, Harrison might have pulled off a masterclass. The Mavericks are still alive in the postseason. Davis is thriving. Luka's Lakers are watching from home. But here's the kicker. There's a growing sentiment in league circles that this might not be over. That both teams might still be willing to shake the NBA landscape again this summer. Could a reunion actually be on the table? Some are speculating that the Lakers could make another blockbuster move, one that doesn't involve giving up Luka, but adding Davis back into the mix. Could Austin Reeves become the centerpiece of a new trade package? Could the Lakers push their chips in and form the most dangerous pick-and-roll combo in the league? Imagine Luka and Davis running high screens, LeBron roaming as a slashing playmaker, Rui Hachimura and D'Angelo Russell spacing the floor. That's not just scary, that's unstoppable. But is it even possible? Well, that depends on how desperate both front offices are to win now. Because time is ticking. LeBron isn't getting younger. Luka's already tasted disappointment. And Davis, despite his history, remains one of the most dominant two-way forces in the game. So here's the real question. Could we actually see a Luka, Davis, LeBron trio in purple and gold next season? Or is this just fantasy born from playoff heartbreak? But what do you think about all of this? Was the Luka trade a mistake? Should the Lakers have kept Davis? Or is there still a way to pair them both and make a legitimate title run next year? Let me tell you, as a Lakers fan, this stings. Watching Gobert dominate the paint while our guys scrambled to box out was painful. There's no question that a healthy Anthony Davis could have changed the outcome of that series. No question at all. But I also love what Luka brings. The swagger. The vision. The clutch gene. This guy's a walking highlight reel. And I'm not ready to give up on that. Of course, pulling something like this off would require a near-perfect storm of circumstances. Davis would need to be open to returning, the Mavericks would have to be enticed by a new roster construction, and perhaps most importantly, Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka would need to embrace risk in a way that few front offices are truly comfortable with. But if there's any franchise willing to roll those dice, it's the one with 17 banners hanging from the rafters. There's also a question of narrative, and don't underestimate how powerful that could be in shaping real-world decisions. Anthony Davis returning to the Lakers to finish the job would be a Hollywood script waiting to be written. The media buzz alone could reignite fan passion after a disappointing playoff run, and you know the NBA loves a redemption arc. Behind the scenes, there are whispers that LeBron James has already weighed in. According to one source close to the situation, LeBron remains in constant communication with both Luka and Davis. While he hasn't publicly commented on the rumors, those in the know believe he would welcome a reunion, especially one that doesn't force him to carry such a heavy defensive load in his 22nd season. Let's also not forget the salary cap dynamics. The new CBA has put intense pressure on teams that rely heavily on top-heavy rosters, and the Lakers are feeling the squeeze. Moving off one or two mid-tier contracts, like Gabe Vincent or even Jared Vanderbilt, could free up the flexibility they need to pull off something seismic. Combine that with draft compensation and maybe an overseas prospect stash, and suddenly you've got a package worth considering. And then there's the elephant in the room, health. Anthony Davis's availability has always been a caveat to his greatness. But ironically, his most recent run with Dallas has been relatively clean. Whether that's due to better load management, improved medical oversight, or sheer luck, it's raised eyebrows in LA. Some believe the Lakers may have underestimated his durability and overreacted to a few poorly timed injuries. Meanwhile, Luka's emotional investment in the team remains high, but there have been signs of tension. After the Game 6 loss, Luka didn't mince words. "We have to figure out how to be tougher," he said. "That's on everyone, including me." Some interpreted that as a veiled message to the front office. Build me a team that can compete physically, not just outscore opponents. And if you're Rob Pelinka, how do you respond to that kind of challenge? You either double down on offense, or you admit the need for balance. Bringing Davis back in any capacity would be an undeniable signal that the Lakers are choosing the latter. They want to win with defense again, with grit, with interior dominance. And that identity shift could be exactly what this franchise needs. It's also worth mentioning the development of the Lakers' young core. Jalen Hood-Schifino showed flashes of potential late in the season. Max Christie had moments of two-way brilliance, but none of them are ready to fill the defensive vacuum left by Davis. That's not an indictment, it's just reality. If the Lakers want to win now, they can't afford to wait on internal development alone. Of course, any blockbuster has risks. Luka might not love the idea of playing second fiddle in the spotlight again. Davis might not want to retrace his steps. And LeBron, well, he could decide at any moment that it's time to move on altogether. But the risk of not doing anything might be even greater. Stand pat, and this same roster could face another first-round bounce next year, with even more pressure and fewer options. And while many fans would scoff at giving up assets to reacquire someone they just let go, there's precedent for this kind of reversal. Remember when the Cavaliers traded for Andrew Wiggins, only to ship him out for Kevin Love? Sometimes the right move is admitting that the first move was wrong. And if that humility leads to a title, no one remembers the detour, only the banner. Around the league, other teams are watching closely. The Clippers are likely to reload. The Suns might make another swing. And don't count out the Warriors, who still have enough assets to get creative. If the Lakers sit idle while the West reloads, they risk becoming yesterday's news in a conference that's never been more competitive. Let's also look at the broader NBA meta. The league is trending back toward defensive versatility. The Celtics, Nuggets, and Timberwolves have all found success with hybrid bigs who can anchor the paint and switch out on the perimeter. The Lakers used to have one of those, and they let him go. Reversing that decision might not just be about nostalgia, it could be about survival. And remember, LeBron James is still in the picture. He's no longer the bulldozer he was in Miami, or the athletic freak of his early Cleveland days, but his basketball IQ and court vision remain elite. Pairing him with Luka and Davis could create a triangle of decision-making few teams could match. It wouldn't just be talent, it'd be synergy. Of course, the salary cap complicates things. Reacquiring Davis means navigating a tight financial maze. But if there's one franchise that's never been afraid of luxury tax penalties, it's the Lakers. They've paid big before. They'll pay big again, especially if it means chasing another banner to hang in Crypto.com arena. And then there's the narrative. Bringing Davis back will be one of the most dramatic story arcs in recent NBA memory. Think about it. A fallen champion returns to the team that let him go, joins forces with the star he was traded for, and embarks on a redemption tour. Hollywood couldn't write it better. But let's not ignore the other side of the coin. Some insiders believe this whole idea is nothing but a distraction, a media fantasy cooked up to drive engagement in a slow news cycle. They argue that the Lakers need to focus on depth, not drama. That the real problem isn't Luka or Davis, it's the lack of reliable role players. Because when you look at the bench production from the Lakers in that Wolves series, it was rough. Jared Vanderbilt was invisible. Taurean Prince couldn't hit shots. Jackson Hayes barely saw the floor. That's not a championship formula, that's a roster crying out for balance. Which raises an uncomfortable truth. The Lakers might be stuck in a cycle of star chasing while ignoring the dirty work that wins playoff games. Defense, rebounding, hustle, chemistry. Those things don't show up on TikTok highlight reels, but they're what knocked the Lakers out in 6. Still, the temptation is real. This is LA, after all, a city built on spectacle. And the idea of 3 superstar talents, each with something to prove, coming together for one last shot at glory? It's intoxicating. Let's also not forget Davis's own feelings. According to sources close to his camp, he wasn't entirely happy in Dallas. Yes, he respected Jason Kidd. Yes, he enjoyed playing next to Kyrie. But he missed the energy of LA. He missed the banners, the history, the pressure. In his own words, he missed playing for something bigger. Would Dallas even consider giving him up again? That's a tough sell. Davis has anchored their playoff run. But if they flame out early, if the second round ends in heartbreak, it's not out of the question. Especially if Luka expresses doubts about his long-term fit. So maybe, just maybe, Rob Pelinka finds a way to keep Luka and bring Davis back. It sounds crazy, but this is the Lakers we're talking about. Nothing's ever too big, too bold, or too wild for Hollywood. I can't wait to read your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to Lakers News Fan Report, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. We've got more breaking news, wild trade ideas, and insider buzz coming your way, and you do not want to miss it. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Lakers!